Story 1. Am I the a-hole for not being able to be sober while in a relationship with my boyfriend? I, 22 have been struggling with a drug addiction ever since I was younger. To give you some background, both of my parents sold drugs illegally while they had a drug addiction, which led to them getting arrested and left me to look after my siblings while they were in jail. My scholarship, which I had earned to a nice college, was lost when I had to drop out of high school to care for my younger brother. Recently, I've met this really nice guy, 22 with whom I fell in love, and he returned my feelings. My boyfriend was aware of the fact that I turned to drugs to help me cope with the stress of having to clean up after my parents' mess. He didn't mind much if I didn't use it too much. Unfortunately, I grew more and more addicted till the point that it was hard to spend time with him sober. He took care of me every time to make sure I didn't overdose. I feel so horrible that I had to put so much pressure on him and made him scared every time. I really do love him, and whenever I am sober I remind him that he doesn't have to be my caretaker, but he says he does it out of love. He makes me so happy and I can't imagine my life without him. Redditor comments. 1. You're the a-hole, but mainly because it doesn't sound like you're doing any 12-step programs or even trying to get sober. Babe, you are addicted. Time for rehab, babe. Time for rehab. It's not fair to him and it's not fair to you. Rehab, rehab, rehab. Please. And therapy for both of you. It's very traumatic to be the caretaker of an addict. You both need it, sugar. Time to get healthy. Edit to change pronoun of op. My sincerest apologies for missing that. Sad face. 2. You're the a-hole. You're the a-hole, but to yourself. You're hurting him as you hurt yourself. Once you quit hurting yourself, you'll naturally stop hurting him. I've done similar things to escape, but you can find other things to help you cope. For example, writing, movies, and exercising. You can get addicted to anything, but you can make the choice on what you get addicted to. Yeah, you lost a scholarship out of high school, but it's never too late to get a scholarship. You have to apply yourself. You already showed that you're capable of doing whatever you want because you got a scholarship in high school. So stop living in the past and live in the present. 3. You're the a-hole for getting into a relationship while you're struggling with addiction. As someone who struggled with alcohol addiction while in college, I can tell you one thing. The worst time to ever get into a relationship or make a life-changing decision is when you're hurting, when you're vulnerable, and when you're under a significant amount of anxiety stress. How can you know that you're not using this relationship and your boyfriend as a distraction from your problems and stressful situation? You must seek counseling and get help with your addiction. It sounds like you guys are codependent on each other, and what happens if this relationship ends? That could send you into even more of a nosedive into your addictions. There was a quote I read about addiction, and it said, "It's not so much about being sober as it is more about creating a life for yourself that you don't feel like you have to escape from all the time." You need to take a look at the things that are causing you stress, pain, and anxiety. Categorize those things into A. What don't I have to put up with, and B. What is causing stress that I cannot change or control? The things you don't have to deal with or can delegate to someone else, eliminate it or delegate it to someone else. The things that you have to deal with that's causing stress, accept them, but start putting hobbies and other positive things in place to replace the addiction. I've truly been here before. And I can tell you, you need a solid support system, an addiction program, and addiction replacements. I hope this helps, and I'm wishing you peace, recovery, healing, and success in your endeavors and relationship. You're still young. Also, your story reminds me of the show named Shameless. You have the same story of the main character, Fiona. I would encourage you to watch it, not to keep yourself in victim mode, but to do how she developed an addiction and how she needed to push herself to come out of it while taking care of 5 siblings. It may also do you some good to get information on coping with grief. Whether they are still alive or not, when your parents move deep into addiction, you lose your childhood and basically your parents. You have to mourn and process that as well. So it may not only be stress that you're coping with. You may also be struggling with stages of grief. 4. You're the a-hole. I was in a relationship with a guy who couldn't be sober for the life of him, and I loved caring for him, but it drained me mentally and emotionally. Your boyfriend doesn't deserve this, and if you love him like you say you do, you'd get sober. 5. You're not an a-hole. Addiction is real, whether it's drugs, alcohol, food, etc. I think your best option would be to get help to overcome your addiction. Your BF sounds like an amazing guy, but he might have a breaking point one day from always having to make sure you stay alive. As someone who has previously taken care of drug overdose patients in the ICU, I really hope you'll have the strength one day to be sober. Best of luck to you. You're not the a-hole, he's not the a-hole, drugs are the a-hole. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for not thanking my ex for buying me a new mattress and saying he was acting like a creep? I mentioned to some of my friends that I was having a hard time sleeping because my mattress isn't comfortable anymore and my back hurts because of pregnancy. My ex was there but I wasn't talking to him and he was having his own conversation. He probably overheard but it's still none of his business and I never mentioned it because I wanted him to do something about it. After that conversation he decided to pretend to be the hero and buy me a new mattress. I didn't say thank you to him after it was delivered even though I knew it was from him. I pretty much decided not to bring it up at all but he obviously mentioned it to his best friend who brought it up in front of everybody after we were arguing over me not finding out the baby's gender even though my ex and his family are desperate to know. I'm not going to thank him for acting like a nosy creep, which is what I said. My ex was mad at me for the whole gender thing but I don't think he cared so much about the mattress until I said that, but now he's being a bigger dick, which is a huge achievement for him. He basically threatened to take the mattress back, which I know he won't, but it's still a dick move to try to hold the mattress over me when I never even asked for it in the first place. I wouldn't have even posted about this but a friend, who I thought was closer to me than to him, pulled me aside and told me my ex was really trying and I should give him a chance instead of acting like a bitch because I was still angry at him. So, am I the a-hole? Redditor comments. 1. You're the a-hole. If you plan on keeping and using the mattress and if he's the father of your baby, I feel like this was important info that's left out, in which case he could just be wanting to make sure the mother of his kid is getting rest. On the other hand, if he is trying to use this as a way to win you back over and has nothing to do with the kid, then it's really weird to just randomly give your ex something new like that. 2. Yep, you're the a-hole. I advise blaming pregnancy stuff. First off, you do appreciate the gift because you didn't return it and I assume you want to keep it. Second, he may be your ex and you obviously are not a fan of his right now, but he's the father of the baby you're carrying. If I had an ex that hated me but I found out that she needed a mattress and I could provide one, I absolutely would because this woman is carrying my child. A good night's sleep is important to mother and child, and you said in front of him that you weren't sleeping well. So yeah, you should apologize and thank him, Mo. 3. Sorry Han, you're the a-hole in this instance. You may have very valid reasons to be upset with him, mad at him, etc. However, in your anger or frustration at him you disregarded a very nice gesture. He heard you were not sleeping well. You didn't ask for anything, but he decided to do something very nice for you. You are pregnant with his child, he was trying to help you get some rest. He didn't deliver the mattress himself, didn't try to worm his way into your home. He didn't hold it over your head or make a big deal about it and you couldn't even say thank you. You may not like to be beholden to others, but it was a nice gesture and you basically *T all over it. Telling him thank you will not absolve him of any past wrongdoing or imply that you forgive him for whatever you are upset about. But it does mean that he is more willing than you to be civil. 4. You're the a-hole. You could have very well declined the delivery of the mattress. But you didn't and you could even be grateful enough to thank him. If it was so nosy creep of him, you shouldn't have accepted his very generous gift. He's the father of your child from what I read, and it's not creepy of him to buy his child's mother a new mattress so that she can sleep well while pregnant with his child. You sound like a very ungrateful and entitled person. 5. Everyone sucks here. Once it was there, you should have refused delivery and made them take it back. He's trying to manipulate his way back into consistent contact or maybe even a relationship. You shouldn't have accepted it, then he wouldn't be able to use it against you. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for wanting my girlfriend to download a locator app? We have lived together for about a year. She goes out fairly often to hang out with friends or whatever, which I have never said or implied that I am not okay with. But she won't give me accurate information about where she's going or who she is with. She either doesn't tell me anything, or flat out lies about it. She will say something like she is giving a friend a ride to work and will be right back, but will then be gone for several hours. Hanging out with a friend and will be back later this evening, might really mean she won't be back until the next day. Or if she goes to a party and might have to sleep it off, she could be gone for several days. The most recent instance, she said she was staying at her mom's house to dog sit while they were out of town for 2 days. Her mom lives 10 minutes from us, so it struck me as odd that she would stay at the house the whole time, instead of just stopping by a few times to walk them and whatnot. I drove by her mom's house the next morning on my way to work to see if her car was there, which it wasn't and her mom's car was. I bought her phone and it's on my account. So I asked her to download the AITA family app and sent her the link. But she hasn't done it yet, and I just don't know what to do now. I can't just stop caring about what she's out there doing and keeping from me. But I also don't want to break up / kick her out or anything. I don't even want to actually use the app to track her. I just hoped that it being there would get her to stop lying to me. Redditor comments. 1. You're the a-hole for not waking up. Dump her. Don't stay in a relationship with someone who lies to you. She's not going to let you locate her when she's deceiving you about where she is and what she's doing. Is this a joke post? 2. Everyone sucks here. There's a whole lot going on here, most importantly a lack of trust. If you can't and don't trust her, and I can see why you don't, then this relationship isn't going to work. She should be honest about where she's going and how long she will be gone, but you can't track her every move. She's still a grown woman with a mind of her own. 3. Bro, she leaves for several days at a time to just sleep it off? That's a huge red flag, and kinda glaringly obvious she either has a drug problem or is cheating on you, or both. You're not the a-hole, but you're being terrible to yourself. You don't deserve to be left like that, or lied to. There's millions of other people to fall in love with, please just move on for your own mental health. 4. You're the a-hole. Putting a tracking app on her phone is ridiculous. She doesn't owe you detailed updates of where she is at all times. If she isn't showing up for plans or mysteriously disappearing for hours unexpectedly, that's a whole other issue that isn't solved by tracking her phone. You need to actually talk with her and address the issue. 5. You're the a-hole. Sorry, but this is hyper-controlling behavior. If she doesn't communicate with you, then she's not the right partner for you. If she doesn't want to communicate with that level of detail, it's maybe BC you're not the right person for her. Have a conversation. If you're worried about cheating, drugs, whatever, you gotta talk, figure out what the real situation is and decide if you want to deal or not.